So what's the second persuasion myth? Well, it comes from a video I saw a few years ago. It was by Werner Erhard, and the story behind it is he was talking about how they brought him in to settle disputes. Supposedly he said, I'm good at these things, so they brought him in. And he did everything he could to settle the dispute. Sure enough, it didn't work. So on his flight back home, he's thinking to himself, and he had this light bulb go off. And he said, hey, you know what? I tried everything. I tried having good arguments. I tried this. I tried that. But did I ever make sure that each side felt absolutely gotten by the other side? Not even just understood, but absolutely 100% gotten. So after he had this thought, he actually flew back and did it again, this time with just that one change. He made sure that each person on the side of the table made sure that the person on the other side of the table, or the party on the other side of the table, they felt like they got them. And with that change, it was resolved. And I was thinking about it, that how can such a small change make such a big difference in influencing and persuading people? You see, here's a good way to look at it. Kevin Daly, he wrote a book called Socratic Selling. And he said to imagine you're flying an airplane. You're up at 35,000 feet in the sky, and there's a lot of turbulence. It's really crazy. So you reach out to air traffic control, and you say, hey, this is Jet 123 reporting from above Atlanta. Can you hear me? Silence. So you try again. Hey, this is Jet 123 reporting over Atlanta. Can you hear me? Again, silence. So you're like, okay, I'm going to try again. This is Jet 123 reporting in over Atlanta. Can you hear me? And this time you hear something, except the response you hear is that it's two people and they're talking about yesterday's football game. And I was just thinking about this, that in a conversation with someone, there's always one person transmitting a message to the other side, just like an airplane is transmitting that message. And very often the signals coming back from the person or the parties listening have nothing to do with the transmission. The person feels like a pilot transmitting to traffic control and getting nothing back, or worse, hearing about yesterday's football game. Now, I suggest to you that that's how most people, including me and you, feel in most conversations we have. Think about it. Do you know someone who responds to everything you say with a judgment or advice? Does that make you feel heard? Does that make you feel understood? Does that make you feel gotten? Have you ever done that? And can you start to see how doing that can make people feel not heard? Can you see how that alone can make the people we care about feel? You see, the most important thing in any interaction, whether it's one-to-one or one to thousands, is that the other side feels not only understood, but absolutely 100% gotten. When that magic switch is flipped, anything is possible. And that's why Kevin Daly, he says in his book, Socratic Selling, that to begin with, you must understand the customer and must demonstrate that understanding every time you show you get what they're saying. The dialogue advances. So, for example, a customer comes yelling at you. You normally would maybe get mad back, or your boyfriend or girlfriend says, hey, I want you to stop hanging out with other people of the opposite sex. You say, you're being ridiculous. Or your daughter comes to you and she's saying, you know what, I'm just not feeling great about myself. And maybe you say, you give advice and you say, no, you have nothing to feel hurt about. You're great. But first of all, now you know to never make the other person wrong, so you wouldn't say those things. But beyond that, making them wrong, you also want to make sure that they absolutely feel gotten and show them that you get them. And don't do it for them, do it for you. Just consider this. Al Capone, America's most notorious gang leader, said, I have spent the best years of my life giving people the lighter pleasures, helping them have a good time, and all I get is abuse and the existence of a hunted man. Now, if Al Capone doesn't think of himself as what we think of him, what about the people with whom you and I come into contact? Do we really have any idea what's going on inside of them? So why do we act like we do? You see, we see everyone through our own world lens, and we assume we know how the person thinks, what they feel, and what they've been through. But you can only begin to know someone when you realize that you have no idea, zero idea what's really going on through their eyes. So that's myth number 2, that persuasion is about getting them to understand you. And the secret number 2, is make them feel gotten. Until the other person or the other people feel absolutely gotten by you, they will be resistant to what you have to say. Just remember this, Henry Ford, he said if there's any one secret to success, any one secret, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view as well as your own. And Albert Einstein, he said that peace cannot be achieved by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. Pretty cool, right?